Hi there, my name is Johnny and welcome to the YouTube channel of Media. And in this video we're going to take a look at Google Ads and showing you some research techniques for you to find out if they can work for your business. Google Ads can be a great way to grow your business if set up correctly, but if not set up correctly with no research done, they can be a great way to spend money very fast with limited results. So in this webinar that you're about to see, we are going to go through some techniques that we use with clients. If you have any questions, just please feel free to ask them in the comment section below and we will get through them. Or if you think maybe you want to run some Google Ads or you're looking to grow your business, I'll also put a link in the box below to our website and the form on our website where you can contact us. So we hope you enjoyed the webinar and we'll click over there now and enjoy. All right, so we're looking for Google Ads and can they work for my business? Because what tends to happen and what we kind of see happen a lot is that people go to an agency and they'll say, oh, I want to promote, whatever my product is. And the problem with that is that whatever budget you get, they will spend it as kind of quickly as possible. The idea for this is that maybe we give you some targets that you can work towards kind of in your business if you go to one of them. Now, Google Ads, I'm sure you've seen them before, but just to show you briefly what they are and what we mean when we say a Google ad. So this is, for an example, this is law firm. So you type law firm into Google and there'll be results and stuff like that. And then you'll see some that very clearly say ad next to them. Now for an ad, they have paid for them to be in this place. So if you say like accountant, as soon as you type in accountant, the top two results are these ones, and these are paid for. And you can do things like obviously put in the web address, number of other links to the website. You can put a phone number on there. You can customize any part of this, but you don't need any images for this side of things. Now, sorry, 2 seconds. Now, where they come in the sales funnel, as we've got a sales funnel, and you think about people, so they're going to the top, and you've got awareness, people have been aware of your brand, taken interest in it, decision, and then moving into taking action. Action is something like they, complete a purchase. Awareness is like the branding side where they'll just be aware of your brand. Interest where they're taking a strong interest in your product, your service. Decision is where they're like, okay, I want to buy this. And action is the process go through to complete that service. Now, as we're going to go to in a second, the good thing about Google Ads is that they're already showing a strong interest in your product or service. So they get aware that you exist, and there's, as I said, a very strong interest in it, which leads into the positives. So the positives for it are that the potential customers, it's not like something on, say, Facebook when you're just scrolling through and your advert has to catch their attention and then to click on it. With Google Ads, people are typing into Google the exact search, or it should be the exact search for your business or for the type of area. So say, for example, for us, it might be something like digital marketing. They're typing in digital marketing and our name would appear at the top of there and potentially get some clicks. This moves on to the second good part, is that they only actually pay, or people only actually pay for adverts. You only actually pay Google when someone clicks your advert. This is unlike, again, something like Facebook or Instagram under the same brand, where you pay for impressions. So if someone sees your advert, you pay for it. In Google, someone can see your advert over and over and over again, and if they don't click on it, you don't pay for it. So this sounds great so far. It's whether people showing interest in your business, which is perfect, or they literally want your product or service. They're just comparing a few, and you only pay for an advert when someone's clicked on it. So you could appear 100 times on the Google search, and if one person clicks on it, you only pay for that one person. Whereas for Facebook, you'd pay for the entire thing. There are a lot of negatives there, or there are some negatives with these ones. So it can be easy to spend a lot of money quickly with people clicking on it. This is the same for most advertising, obviously. And it tends to have a much higher cost than other platforms such as Facebook. The reason behind that is you are basically paying for people further down the funnel. So you are paying for people that have already shown an interest in, or has hopefully shown interest in your business. Whereas Facebook, you're paying for the impression. So it's almost like you've got to work to get people in. Google's kind of saying we are going to charge more because these are people who are already showing potential in it. Now, this is where we're going to go through the checklist of what you should do when running a Google Ads campaign. The first thing you need to do, this is like before you go to a company or before you start to think about yourself. So the first thing you need, probably about a £1,000 budget, to be honest with you, to have a really good crack at it. And I put a gambling budget on here because it's almost got to be like, it can't be like the make or break of your business, because as I said, you can spend money quite quickly. It's almost like you need that amount of money, just kind of figure out what's going on, figure out what your cost per acquisition is, etc. Now, if you're like, okay, I've got a kind of budget and that's possibly the kind of thing I want to spend to test out some of those, and maybe like would say working with a client and potentially say like £300 a month to start with, just to see kind of what's happening. You can obviously spend a bit less than this, but this is what we usually say to advise to start with. So the next thing to do is research a list of keywords. I'm going to show you tools for that. You then can check their traffic and check their cost, how much it costs. We'll show you that. You can then use those to calculate targets. Again, we'll show you that. And then we'll talk about this next bit, where we're setting up the ecosystem. This is how the entire thing links together. So just setting up a Google Ads account is completely free. And I'll let this bit load up because it can take a second or two. And this can be the one bit annoying bit of Google Ads. It can take a long time to load up. So setting up this is entirely free. You've just got to be very careful on the start. When you're setting up, they do try and get you to set up an account and pay for it. So just be careful for that. Now, we don't have any ads running at the moment. Now, up here in the tools and settings, hidden away in here in the planning section, you've got what's called the keyword planner. Now, if you click on that, that'll take you through. Brilliant. That'll take you through to the keyword planning section. Now, this is where you can start to research your keywords, maybe see how much they cost, see how much traffic's coming through on them. So, say for example, once this loads up, so the first thing you do is maybe think about some keywords that you might want to type in that your users might be searching. So, say for example, it might be, we'll look at accountants second. It might be like accountants in Southampton. Okay, here we go. This is probably easier to do it. So we've got discover new keywords here. So you can click on that one. And in here, you can type in a keyword you want to do. So say, for example, I don't know, we are making a fair bit of sourdough at the moment. Let's put that in. Let's just see how many people are searching sourdough and what the kind of results are. Now, this is the page you've got. Now it shows your relevant keyword that you typed in there. So it's got sourdough firstly. Next, it shows you the average monthly search volume. So it's got here that 10,000 to 100,000 people are searching sourdough at the moment. Now it also shows that competition is low. Now competition is low, and if what this should be is if we type into Google sourdough and search it, if we have a look on here, this is all organic results. So at the moment, there's no adverts on here at all for it. Now, if we go back to our search, that's what it means by low competition, and that will come into the bidding bit later. That means there's not going to be many people bidding against you if you want this. Now, the next two across says the top of bid range, the low range, and the top of bid range, the high range. So what the top of the page means is this first one here. So how much does it cost to get to the top of the page? Now, this, as you can see, is a massive range. It's saying from 26p to get to that top advert to £3.90. Now, I won't go too much into the bidding of it, but the reason there's such a wide range is because companies are bidding against each other when they're putting keywords forward to get to the top of the page. So sometimes you might get it for 26p, but sometimes it might cost you £3.90. The other thing to do, if you are setting this up yourself, and we have some videos on our YouTube channel about it, you can also set a minimum bid. So if you just let this, say, put sourdough in there, and you let this run, some of your bids would come through at £3.90. And that's what I mean, that you can spend a lot of money, and you can spend a lot of money fast. Now, what is also nice about this is it gives you a ton of keyword ideas. So if you scroll down here, it gives you a load of ideas that you could use. For example, it's got the quick sourdough, and I'm sure it says quick sourdough recipe. That's only 10p to get to the top of the page, but it can go up to 465, so you could put a cap on that. Easy sourdough starter, as you can see, that's down at 4p. And as you go down and do these, you can literally just tick them, say the ones you want, and you can say add keywords, and you can add keywords and choose a plan. So you can literally go through these, add your keywords, and choose a plan. Now, I'd say even if you're not planning to run a Google Ads campaign, this is quite a good thing to do, because it lets you see, so you could filter them and say, okay, what's the main keywords people are searching? Or if there's, say, a low search volume, potentially on some of these, could you write a blog that gets you into one of these low keywords, that gets you into some of these low monthly searches that might not have a lot of content on there? Like, could you put some blogs in there that could mop up a little bit of that traffic? Now, at the end, you can do that. You can see the most expensive words, and then you can see, go down to the least expensive words. Now, some of them don't even have, this isn't foolproof. Like, some of them don't have the cost on there, or some of them have, some of them don't have estimates on them. That can be a bit of a pain. So we say this is only the start of it. Until you start running your campaign, you won't have an idea. Now, what we're then trying to do is think, okay, how many clicks would these keywords get us? How much would that cost us? How many conversions could we look at getting? And how much would those conversions cost us to make it think, would this be a good idea to run? So we're thinking, okay, sourdough, 10 to 100,000 searches a month, that's the cost. Now, this is a quick spreadsheet that we always put together that shows like a way of putting some numbers in and kind of figuring out what your cost is. Now, Google will do all this stuff for you once you start running your ads, but this is almost a way you just think about, like, what targets you aim for. Now, the ones in bold, they are the figures which you'll have data coming in. So these are like the variables, the ones that can change. The ones that aren't, if you have a look in this box here, just some very simple equations up there. So say, for example, on this one, let's say the monthly traffic, and take monthly traffic, and let's say, I don't know, monthly traffic is like roughly 20,000. Let's say 20,000 come through, sort of on the lower end of the range. And the reason I'm going to say 20,000 is because we're going to choose a lower bid. So we've got 20,000. Now, click-through rate, 0.02 basically means 2%. So saying 2% of people click on your advert, and 2% is probably about like 2 to 3% is probably about the click-through rate you'll get. Possibly as high as maybe 5%, but probably in most cases not. So 20,000 impressions will give you or if you've got a 2% click rate, will give you 400 clicks. And let's say you set the bid at £1, and that's a reasonable bid for that type of keyword. That means over a month you're going to be getting £400 for those clicks. Now, let's say from those clicks onto your page, which we'll go through in a second, let's say that you have 10% is actually a little higher. Let's set that to 5%. Let's say you have a 5% conversion rate. So let's say that you have 5% of people coming through and clicking onto whatever conversion you've got. So here it might be buying a loaf of sourdough. Now, it's saying from these 400 clicks, you should get about 20 conversions, which means that it may cost you about £20 per conversion. So let's say you're selling a loaf of sourdough bread, £20 conversion may sound very high, but I guess if your cost of acquisition, if you can get them into upsell, cross-sell, etc., maybe £20 conversion, if you're getting a few £100 of lifetime value of the customer, that might work out quite well for you. So you could be looking at this and thinking, okay, that is absolutely perfect. However, if, say, for example, you're in services, so we had a look at accountant here, and let's have a look at how much this person's probably paying to get to the top of this page. So if I put in accountant and I click on get results, you'll suddenly see here the bids jump to £2.55 to £9.86. So if we say, and the average monthly search is about the same. So if, for example, we change the bids, and let's say to bid to get to the top of the page, you have to put in like, I don't know, maybe £4 or something like that. Suddenly the cost jumps up to £1,600. You'll be paying for that. And the cost per conversion is going to be probably on here at least £80. So it might cost you £80 per lead. Now, going back across this bit. Oh, sorry, there seems to be no way of going to this checklist slide, so I'm gonna have to just quickly scroll through. Oh no, there we go, perfect. All right, so we're saying, okay, you've got a budget, and you saw there from looking at the accountant one, look at the amount of clicks you get, you know, £1,000 budget, it can get eaten up very, very quickly. There was also just one keyword we were looking at there. You're going to want to find as many keywords as possible and have a look at their cost. You can then have a look at their traffic and put them into a very simple spreadsheet like that to try and figure out their cost. You can have a look at their cost in Google Ads. You can then put them in a very simple spreadsheet to say, okay, my target is to get £40 cost per acquisition or £40 cost per conversion, something like that. Now, this last bit, we say set up your ecosystem. Now, what we've kind of moved towards is, as I said, we started with websites, but we found the websites that we built had a much higher conversion rate. And then we looked at all the stuff around the website. And what we now do is say, okay, your entire ecosystem has got to be set up. That's talking about the branding. That's talking about the ads you're putting out about your website, your call to actions, like your automation behind the entire thing, via cross-selling, upselling. Now, let me show you an example of that. So, for example, this law firm, or these law companies up here, who are, actually, let's do accountants. Sorry, accountants are good ones first. So these accountants that are probably paying a lot. If we're looking at that, they could be paying to get to the top of the page £9.86. Now, just to say, if you said this one for £9.86, suddenly, if you've got a 5% conversion rate, which you might not have, to be honest, conversion rate for this one might be, because as low as 3%, you could be looking at £328 per conversion. But anyway, back to Google and have a look at accountancy. Now, this is a nice advert because it's got the phone number that you can put on there, so you could use that phone number without even clicking on the advert. So we've then got the offer, £24 per month, and the offer is £24 per month. And then if we click on this is what we mean by the ecosystem of it. So this is one I saw, which straight away, like there's no website or anything like that. There's a few links you can click on up there. This is taking you through to the landing page where you simply put in your name, email address, telephone number, and you can. They're just literally looking for this. So you put get instant quote, and you've got to put in your telephone number and email address, and basically they will call you once this is done. And if you look at another one down here, you got tax returns for only 125. Again, call to action is right there. I like the way they put the reviews down there. So you come to this page, there's no thing for you to click on at the top. There's no menu to click on. It's literally just put your name, email, and phone number. So they want to call you, and either you call them or that you fill in that box, and the call to action, save money now. That's really nice. Like £125, even if maximum, their maximum, they could be paying 328 per conversion there, probably the absolute max. If they're thinking they can get this customer, then get 3 years worth of service out of them, that's that one potentially paid back. Now, I am hoping that no one's got anything to do with this this law firm, because this is an example of where I've typed in law firm and this advert has come up. And if we look at law firm, so I typed in keyword ideas, and if I typed in law firm and had a look at that, they could potentially be paying up to £3.32 per click on this advert. So I'm sorry, I'm going to be costing this company money. But just to show you where firstly, I don't think if they're doing wills and estate planning, they shouldn't really be appearing for law firm, because that is probably too broad a word for what they want here. Now, also then, if we click on it and have a look at the page we're taken to, if we compare it to this one where it's very clear, you've got the ticks there, you've got the reviews, very nice. You've got just a very quick form to fill in with an excellent call to action. On here, it looks like you just come through to their website. And if you come through to their website, there's nothing for you to click on yet, and you could get lost and go into their social media. I mean, coming down here, okay, some information about the services. And then there's, I guess, there's a contact us call to action there at the bottom. I would say on this one, this what about the ecosystem, they are probably going to lose money on this one, because and they might do okay. You know, I'm not saying anything against this company or anything like that, but if we compare this landing page to this landing page, there is quite a significant difference. So if we're looking through the checklist again, this is what we mean by setting up your ecosystem correctly. So once you've got your targets, those targets are going to be reach or match if you have the entire process set out. So say, for example, it would be they are going to have to click on a landing page, and that landing page got very clear call to actions and forms to fill in. Once they have done that, there's going to have to be a system behind it, which is going to be a CRM or something to funnel them into a certain point, or to make sure those leads are converting. Now, this leads into our next talk that I will put in the chat box in a second, which is branding to convert, because there's no point running adverts or spending a budget or running people to a landing page if you don't have the brand to back up those side of things. So this is our next talk we're going to do.